For the test security and ethics training part of this presentation, I'm going to go through the slideshow that I was part of at the KSDE conference just so that I make sure I hit all the bullet points. Not all of this is going to apply to you. I am the district and building test coordinator, so anything that pertains to that is for me, and I'll try to highlight on the stuff that's for the teachers, proctors, and administrators. In this part, the purpose of the test security is so that KSD can get the most valid and reliable information on tests that they can get. So it's very important to make sure to have secure and confidential test materials. I keep those materials locked until it is time to take the tests, but it is the responsibility of the people who administer the tests and proctor those tests to make sure that they follow the guidelines for maintaining a good test security. There is a new fact sheet. You should have a copy of that in the packet that I gave you. It is divided into sections, and the ones that you'll want to look at that pertain to you the most are on page 1, the educator test proctor responsibilities. And on the back side of that, it gives information on acceptable practices and not acceptable practices. I would definitely take some time and look through those so that you know what's allowed in the classroom and what's not. And there's information on contact for if you have any questions or concerns for Lee Jones, who is the KSDE assessment coordinator. This year, there's a new process for tickets with the Kansas Assessments. Each student will have a username and password. They'll use that for the entire testing season. The only thing that will change on a daily basis is an access code. And the access code will be sent to me, and then I will make that access code known to you or the teacher on test day. And this is something that we'll have to talk about how our process is going to work, but the main thing is that students will only be getting a username and password, and then you will give them all the same access code, no matter what the subject area is or what their ticket number is. It's going to just all be the same. When you are giving the assessments and if a student has a question or a problem with one of their test items, it is not okay to take a picture of that screen or a screenshot so that you can send that to me. It is against the rules to take a picture and to keep that test item on a computer somewhere. So the thing that would be the best to do if that situation occurs is to jot down the student's name, what test they're on, which session they're taking the test on, and what question number that is. Just have them answer the question to the best of their ability and then email me that information, and I can pass that along for the CETE people or for KSDE, but just don't take a picture of it. If you do have a problem, go ahead and report that information to me, and then I will send that along to KSDE. As a teacher or test proctor, make sure you are actively walking around the room to make sure that students are on task. There is nothing to say that they can't have the same test question as the person next to them. So in order to make sure that they're not looking from, computer to computer, make sure that you don't sit and not walk around actively to make sure that they are focused on their own work. Teachers and test proctors cannot do or say anything that would let a student know if an answer is correct or incorrect, and you cannot ask them how they got a particular answer. You can't ask them to redo a specific item or to go back and look at a certain part once testing has begun. Now, definitely encouraged is to go, when students get to the verify the end review screen, have them raise their hand, let you come and make sure that they have answered all the questions, and that way you can see that they've answered them all before they exit the test, but you cannot go back with them and review each question individually. These are some of the things to remember when you're giving tests. The golden rule: would I want people to do this to me? The truth test: does this action represent the whole truth and nothing but the truth? What if everybody did this? Would I want everyone to do this, like to lie or cheat or steal? Would I want to live in that kind of world? The parents test: how would I feel if my parents found out that I did this? What advice would they give me if I asked them if I should do it? The conscience test: do I feel guilty afterwards? The consequences test: might this action have bad consequences or damage my relationships if I choose to do them? And the front page test: how would I feel if those actions were reported on the front page of the newspaper? Keep those things in mind when you're administering your tests. All staff must be trained through this training before they are allowed to administer state assessments. That is true of teachers, administrators, principals, counselors, anyone who is an employee of the school. Now, people who are volunteers or parents are not allowed to be administering state assessments. To me, this would include any substitutes. If there's a substitute that day, we need to reschedule or have someone that has been trained in that to be administering the state assessments. I keep documentation of the training, so that's nothing that anyone here needs to worry about. You're going to be signing the agreement that says that you have done this training, and I will keep that on file, and it just says that you agree to all the things that you've learned about here and that you will follow those. The form that you will sign is called the Agreement to Abide by form. You should have that in your packet. I have created that, and you will sign and date as well as put your building that you are in on there so that I can file those away.